Trapped in a prison made just for you, the only way to escape is to kill everyone in your path. Welcome to Summed Up, the series where I take a game or piece of game media, summarize it, and then give it back to you. In this one, I go over Furi. The nameless samurai, which we'll call the prisoner, is trapped in a prison designed just for him, being tortured by his jailer. A man wearing a rabbit mask, which we'll call the rabbit, frees and arms him. The jailer threatens the prisoner and sends a signal down to the other cells of the prison to alert them of his escape. After a fight, the prisoner kills the jailer. The rabbit congratulates him and explains that there are more jailers waiting for him, but he knows them and is willing to help. While on the path to the third cell, the rabbit explains how they're both trapped and will now get out thanks to the prisoner's power and his own help. He also explains that the next jailer is an old man, a master of time. The old man chose to be a jailer, and the rabbit says they didn't choose to be there and they're not cool with the status quo. In the cell, the old man tells the prisoner that he foretold his coming and his eventual escape from his cell. However, he was not able to see how far the prisoner would go because, ever since he had arrived, the old man's powers of clairvoyance hadn't been working. After a fight, once the old man lies defeated, he tells the prisoner to look to the skies because there lies your answer. The rabbit adds that the old man had figured out why the prisoner had been sent to them. They had to look to the sky, to the black dot on the sun. On the way to the next cell, the rabbit speaks of how he tried for a long time to look for a solution to fix him, so his plan would be flawless. Of how he could have given up and left the prisoner in his cell. Of how they have nothing to lose because every day they're trapped in the prison, they have already lost. With the jailer defeated, the rabbit states that he thought about their escape for a very long time, with the destruction of the world hanging in the balance. But he valued his world more, and he decided that he'd free himself, whatever the cost. While walking to the next cell, the rabbit talks about how they captured and tortured the prisoner, how all the jailers are killing machines at the top of their game, guards with the sole purpose of keeping him there because they were unable to kill him, and not for lack of trying. The next jailer turns out to be the one who led the mission to capture the prisoner. He lives in the cell with his son, who gives him the courage to fight. After killing him, the prisoner hesitates and looks back at the corpse, but continues walking on. The rabbit tells him not to overthink it, because that's what they want. According to the rabbit, the next jailer is an arrogant fool, the one that got the rabbit thrown into the prison. He claims that she'll act noble, but that's just what it is, an act, to ignore it because they don't belong there. Once inside, she greets the prisoner and apologizes. She says that it was all a mistake, and even though she can't allow him to go down to her world, she will take care of him right where they are. After the prisoner continues walking, she gets angry, accuses him of shunning her, warns him that he brought what's coming upon himself, and so their fight begins. Defeated, she states that his actions will haunt him for the rest of his days, and gives up. The rabbit notices that the prisoner hesitates killing her and says that his hesitation gives him hope. A flash of light is seen in the next cell. The rabbit says that he took care of the jailer there, that it was his contribution to their escape. He goes on to explain that the entire prison was made from that cell by a genius architect. The result was an impassable prison that the rabbit had tried to escape many times, but he found no other way than to free the prisoner and kill the jailers, because he couldn't outsmart his greatest work. Hold up, he's the architect! He built the prison! The architect goes on to explain that after some time, the animal instinct within him took over. The architect gave up on escaping, and the father came up with a plan. He would escape the prison and go back to his daughter. Down the path to the next cell, a robot scans the prisoner. It lists his armament, skills, qualities, biology, and states that his DNA is unknown. With the next two jailers defeated, it's on to the last one. In their final confrontation, she explains that she can't let him go out there because if he does, her world will wither and die. And with her defeated, both the father and the prisoner escape their jail. Once down in the real world, as the prisoner runs, everything around him dies and turns to ruin. The jailers were right. He would bring death to their world simply by being there. The prisoner heads into a tower and takes an elevator to the top. There, he finds a mech suit that states "Acquiring Rider" as soon as he touches it. The rider dons the suit and flies up into space. He arrives at a space station where there's an army of clones of him in suspended animation. Once inside the station, a hologram greets the rider and asks him for a report on his target planet. The results from his report are inconclusive, and the hologram asks him for a manual confirmation. Here's where we split off into the different endings of Furi, in no specific order. Ending 1, the rider does the job he was sent to do and confirms the planet's assimilation. He personally defeated their greatest warriors. The rest of the planet will be no match for an army of riders. And so, the ship's AI deploys the troops. They descend on the planet. The father kneels, holding his daughter while they look upon the apocalypse. Ending 2. The rider, having been changed by his experience in the prison, cancels the attack on the planet. Upon doing so, the ship's AI attacks him. With her defeated, the entire ship goes up in flames. The rider escapes and falls to the planet below. The father sees the falling star and then walks away, holding his daughter by her hand. Ending 3. Back when the blonde jailer offers the rider to stay and be taken care of by her, he simply does so. She praises his decision, tells him that she will give him more every day. She will be his. What do y'all think about it? Which Furi ending would you have personally chosen? Click that like button if you liked the video, subscribe if you really liked it, follow me on Twitter for updates, the link is in the description. As always, I'm Felix, and I'll see y'all next time.